Uncensored, no holds barred talk. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. This is Global Reality Radio Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another live edition of the Global Reality right here on the Global Reality Radio Network. I'm your host, Josh Reeves. Thanks for being with us here tonight for yet another live edition of the broadcast. It is Tuesday into Wednesday now, the 16th into the 17th of August 2011, and we are live here with you tonight. We're going to be getting into some news and information, various topics of discussion, and hope you will stick around for the entirety of the broadcast here tonight. Love to have emails from you as well. If you've got stuff you want to send in, stuff you want to talk about, always happy to have those emails from you. globalrealityshow@gmail.com. It's globalrealityshow@gmail.com. So definitely always send those over there anytime, and I'll do my best to read them all on air and get into them here on the show for you whenever I can. So there you go. Hopefully the vocals and hopefully my mic is sounding better to you than it did last night. John Doe in the chat room helped me figure out what it was. Yeah, we had a tube go out on my my preamp. So luckily I had a cheap backup over here until I have the money to get the other one fixed. But hopefully this is working okay. For right now. Hopefully you can hear me better than you did last night. And by gosh, we're going to have ourselves a show here for you tonight on the broadcast. globalrealityshow@gmail.com is my email address. My website where this broadcast originates from is theglobalreality.com. It's www.theglobalreality.com. So that's where you go and find the links to listen to the stream live. You find the archives there, all of my documentary films as well, and the rest of it all there. Sounds fine there. Okay, good. Yeah, hopefully it sounds better than it did last night. I had to go straight into the mixer with no preamp last night, and the kind of microphone that I use requires you to have a preamp, so it kind of sounded kind of weak. But anyway, there you go. There's that. I've got emails that have been. I didn't get into any emails last night, so definitely going to be getting into some emails tonight. Not a big gargantuan amount of news like we had last night either, so that'll be cut short as well. But we'll be getting back into our reading of the Lost Book of Enki for you here tonight on the show as well. Lots of people have been sending me emails saying, "Hey, can't wait to hear you read the rest of that book." People have been really getting into it and enjoying that, and I'm glad. That's why I do it. That's why I read these things, because sometimes it's much more enjoyable to be to hear somebody else read something for you and give you commentary and stuff like that than it is to read it on your own. And I learn new stuff, you learn new stuff, so I just think it's a win-win situation all around. So we'll be starting tablet number 10 for you here tonight on the show of the Lost Book of Enki. So definitely stick around and get into that. Yeah, actually, that was the Transformers movie this year. People in the chat room were talking about Because I've been talking about, hell, those of you who've been listening to my show for forever, I've been talking about Chicago being a target for 3 or 4 years. All the indicators are there. One of the there's all kinds of connections to the Sears Tower and Silverstein, the rest of that stuff. The new Transformers movie, they blow up Chicago, and there's a building there that kind of looks like where they make it appear for a couple of seconds, where it kind of looks like the Twin Towers. So you get that trauma-based mind control effect going on. I talked about last night. I've been watching all these summer movies. I got to tell you, man, this has got to be the worst summer for movies I've ever seen in my life. These movies are utter shite. Just utter shite, man. And I haven't went and got those statistics on this or looked it up online. But my God, is Steven Spielberg, is his sole purpose in life now just to be to fuck up shitty movies that actually may have the possibility to have some, interesting stuff about aliens in them? It just seems that guy is like the gatekeeper of the total gatekeeper of all things extraterrestrials. That guy, and I haven't checked all this yet. Yeah, there could be more than this. That guy has his hands in 4 different, Steven Spielberg has his hands in 4 different alien-related movies and television shows this year alone. That god-awful J.J. Abrams film, Super 8, that he fucked up. Oh, my God. That movie was fucking horrible, man. The Goonies meets Chud meets Close Encounters. It was fucking terrible. Then he also had his hand in the Transformers film. Producer on that as well. Apparently that's why they had fired that one sexy chick, Megan Fox. And because she called Michael Bay and Hitler or something like that. And of course, Spielberg, the ultra Jew, took offense to it. So that and the other god-awful one, Cowboys and Aliens. Yeah, I'm glad somebody picked up on my Chud reference. It was fucking Chud, man. Cannibalistic humanoid underground dweller. You remember that shit from the 80s? I'm glad to see there's some people in there that are close to my age, at least. But, and then Cowboys and Aliens, which I haven't watched all of it, but I've watched, almost all of it. It's fucking terrible. Oh, my God, it's fucking terrible. And, same shit there. Same exact shit there. Just, there's some kind of aliens with, that live underground. I don't know, man. But it seems that all of this, we talked about yesterday, all this false flag alien stuff coming out, all this, cognitive dissonance. Are aliens real? Are they not real? Getting everybody nice and confused. And getting everybody believing the, Green Lantern. That was another horrible one. Every goddamn, think about the only film I saw this summer that wasn't absolutely horrible was Captain America. I mean, it wasn't that great. Don't get me saying that I thought it was, a great film by any stretch of the fucking imagination, because it wasn't, but it was the only one in all of them I saw that was actually okay. Ah, damn, man. Yeah, and you're right. And all of them, aliens are stealing gold and resources. And yeah, that's absolutely true. Michael D in the chat room there. Yeah, that was absolutely true in all of them. They referenced that, the stealing of resources in Transformers. They referenced the stealing of resources in, I think it was water or something like that, wasn't it? In Super 8. And then in Cowboys and Aliens, they had this crazy technology where they were basically like liquefying the gold right out of the ground and pulling it right out of the ground in like liquid form. It's just insanity, the way that all this stuff, and there's programming and there's propaganda and there's bullshit in every single one of these films. And they're just laying it out there, and it's just blatant now more than it ever has been. Let's see. Oh, one of our listeners said that they're somebody said that I should ask people if if people out there in the listening audience have books that I should know about. And yeah, I guess if you ever have people have books out there about stuff that we have no idea about. So yeah. If you have anything you want to ever suggest, you can always send over my email, globalrealityshow@gmail.com. It's globalrealityshow@gmail.com. I was talking about last night, and I got a listener email, one of our supporters, and a person that's been helping me out to try and get the film out. And yet my camera's busted, man. My high-def camera's busted. I mean, it was a cheap one. I only paid like $400 for it. It was refurbished. I got it in 2009, but I was counting on that to be able to shoot my original footage for the film. That's really all I have left to do, plus some various other editing, music, and stuff like that. And I'm shooting to get that out by the end of this month, Secret Ride Volume 2. But this camera thing just kind of put me in a tough spot, and because all my gear seems to be going tits up on me right now. So, yeah, if you want to help us, if you want to support us and help us be able to get some new equipment very soon so we can get this film out, do so with the website. You can use the donate button there in lieu of using the shipping banner, which we like to keep only for the bills and expenses and stuff like that we have for the network every month, since we don't have sponsors and advertising and all that. So please, if you want to help us to get the film out. I mean, I don't know how much it's going to cost me to get another one. I mean, maybe I can get one refurbished. But I went and looked at the same place I got one at before. They didn't have any refurbished ones that were any kind of good. So I don't know how much it's going to cost me. $500, $1,000, $1,200. I don't know. I hadn't priced them. I don't know how much I had a Canon was the one I had. It was they had like a built-in hard drive, but it was pretty good. I mean, it could have been better, but what I liked about it is it had some features on it that I liked. Like you could plug headphones into it, and you could plug an external microphone into it, which I have an external microphone for that one. So, but if anybody wants to help us out there, it's really the last thing that's kind of holding me back. So, you can use the donate button. You can use we have the P.O. box. You can send checks to whatever you want there. But help us out if you can, and use the shipping banner there for the bills and stuff. Hey, you guys remember? I think it was last week or the week before. I was thinking that I was talking about all this asteroid bullshit, and it just seems now that the movie. I'm starting thinking, I want to close my eyes, don't want to fall asleep 'cause I miss you, baby. And I don't want to miss a thing. I mean, I was just, because it seems like that's where it's heading. Oh, my goodness. It's like every time I say something, it comes out of the news. Fact following fiction. Listen to this. Scientists plan mission to blow up an asteroid hurtling towards Earth. Plan is similar to the plot of Hollywood film Armageddon. Oh, my God. Well, everything's always been foreshadowing. They're dropping this stuff into popular culture for decades, folks. We've just been asleep and conditioned, but it's all been there. It seemed far-fetched on the silver screen, but the European Space Agency is planning to launch a mission similar to the plot of the Hollywood movie Armageddon, in which Bruce Willis and his intrepid team attempt to blow up a huge asteroid that's hurtling towards Earth. The real version, if it goes ahead, in 2015, we'll see a satellite fired at breakneck speed into a test asteroid to see if its course changes. The aim is to assess whether it would be possible to save Earth. Using this method, should we discover that an asteroid is on a collision course with our own planet? Yeah, should we find out? Again, going back to ex-head of the Nazi Space and Warfare Division, brought over here after World War II in Project Paperclip to head up NASA, Dr. Wernher von Braun, and his, first it's going to be commies, and then terrorists, and then asteroids, and then, they're going to tell, then it'll be hostile aliens. They're going to tell us it's hostile aliens, but they're not actually hostile. Unbelievable. It says, so the aim is to assess whether it would be possible. The mission called Don Quixote, give me a fucking break, Don Quixote, eh? Will involve sending 2 spacecraft towards a near-Earth asteroid. One will be an impactor, which is fired into the asteroid. The other, an orbiter that will analyze data from the experiment. Now, listen to this. A lot of you may remember about, I guess it was maybe a year and a half ago, maybe in the end of 2009 or so. Some of you have been listening that longer than that, some of you. But I was talking about the asteroid Apophis. Apophis being set and all, it's basically 666, because it's called 999942 Apophis. 4 plus 2 is 6, which is the other one's around 666. and they came out with this report and said, Apophis is not a threat. It's not a threat. And, well, I said, well, is it? I think it may be a threat, and they're trying to tell us that it isn't. Because there was all these different reports that came out and said, yeah, it's definitely a threat. It definitely could impact with Earth. And then they ran this massive damage control campaign and came out with stories subsequently after that. Said, no, Apophis is not a threat. It's not a threat. It's not, don't worry. And I said, this is a classic case right here. You could just tell that it was damage control. If they were trying to, keep people from getting nervous about this. And it says here that one potential target for this mission Don Quixote is a 1,600-foot wide asteroid called 99942 Apophis. Bum, bum, bum. So let me get this straight. They a few years ago, they come out with all these stories saying that it was definitely on track and definitely could collide with Earth. It was definitely a threat. Then they ran a massive damage control campaign, ran all these stories in the media saying, no, it's not a threat. And then here, they saying that they're going to assess whether it might be possible to save Earth. Ladies and gentlemen, I think that we can say beyond any shadow of a doubt, this is not a mission to try and do. This is the real deal. They're going to try and deflect this thing from heading towards Earth. I've been saying that for a couple of years, but to me, this is absolute proof. We've seen the damage control campaigns. We've seen the disinformation surrounding this, the symbology, the numbers. I mean, look into Apophis. Look into what this is, folks. There's no coincidences in the name and the numbers they use surrounding this thing. There's some old archives of my show out there that you can go back and listen to. That you can probably find some of the stuff where I'm talking about that in. But experts say it does have a minute chance of around 1 in 250,000 of hitting Earth in the year 2036, so it would be useful target practice, right? Well, there's a 1 in 250,000 chance it might hit Earth in 2036, so we're going to spend billions of dollars, send something up there, and just take target practice with it, just in case. By the way, somebody get Bruce Willis on the horn, will you? Thanks, appreciate it.
Suck Satan's cock.
The 500-kilogram impact craft, which will be called Hidalgo. What's up with all these Spanish Hidalgo? Will ram into the asteroid at a speed of around 6 miles a second. That's pretty fast. The orbiter called Sancho. What in the fuck? Don Quixote, Hidalgo, Sancho. This is, I'm telling you, man, we've had some speculations for quite a while now that, some of these show tune loving Les Mis fairies, you know what I'm talking about. That, politicians just seem to be in love with are now writing, stuff like this, the script writers for the military-industrial complex. There will be lots of fingers crossed in mission control as a big asteroid impact could wipe out life on Earth. Yeah, no shit, Sherlock. Tell us something we don't know. NASA, meanwhile, is planning something even more spectacular. It wants to put humans on the surface of an asteroid within 15 years. I mean, I just still don't. What is the purpose? Oh, yay, we're on the asteroid. Hell yeah. Firing up some steaks, having some beer. We're standing on the asteroid. Woo! I mean, what is what is the purpose? How is this serving mankind? We're on the asteroid. Oh, hell yeah. I mean, just to say we're able to go put people on an asteroid. Man, oh man, oh man. This shit is out of fucking control. Let's see what else we have here tonight. President Barack Obama said Tuesday that a lone wolf terror attack in the U.S. is more likely than a major coordinated effort like the September 11th attacks nearly a decade ago. Have you guys noticed this? They're really ramping up I don't know, the fear-mongering or the rhetoric surrounding, the possibility of new terrorist attacks happening in the United States very soon. And I mean, I've been seeing the indicators of that I think we all have for the past 5 or 6 years. But now the way they're running it is they're doing this. I love how they're shifting it from the focus of terrorism and the focus of what that was in the previous Bush administration. Where it's Al Qaeda cells and Taliban sleeper cells and, Jack Bauer and 24 going to find the sleeper cells. They've shifted all that over now from that sort of perspective and that angle to the idea of the lone gunman, the lone wolf, That was really their, with Anders Breivik, that was really their first go at that. Well, it's because then it's harder to, when you have a group of people ideologically connected, and then you use that group of people who are ideologically connected or religiously connected as your scapegoat, your Patsy, and your Oswald, then after a while, you don't have the ability to narrow things down to just that group anymore because you've already used that up. But now what they're doing is, now anybody. See, that's why we have to have airport scanners and DNA scanners, and that's why we have to track everything you do on the internet and all the purchases. That's what we need to know because, see, it's not just groups anymore. It's individual lone wolves. People who we can't get intelligence on. So since anybody and everybody is now a suspect because of these lone wolves, now that justifies why we have to crack down on everybody and everything and track and trace individual people, not just Al Qaeda cell over here or sleeper cell over here anymore. No. Everybody is a possible suspect, guilty until proven innocent, in this new climate of phony terror and all this other new stuff that now this administration that was supposed to be different that is in no way different is now rolling out. With the nation preparing to observe the 10th anniversary of hijacked airliners crashing in New York and Washington and along the Pennsylvania countryside, Obama said the government is in a heightened state of awareness. The biggest concern we have right now is not the launching of a major terrorist operation, although that risk is always there, the president said in an interview with CNN. The risk that we're especially concerned over right now is the lone wolf terrorist. Somebody with a single weapon being able to carry out wide-scale massacres of the sort that we saw in Norway recently. When you've got one person who is deranged or driven by a hateful ideology, they can do a lot of damage, and it's a lot harder to trace those lone wolf operators. See right there, he tells you exactly what this is about. Because this has gone beyond terrorist groups or countries or anything else, now we have, just regular everyday people who are now becoming insurgents. Look at this Anders Breivik guy, just a regular, he looked like a regular white blonde-haired guy. Oh, well, he's a Freemason. Oh, he's in the Knights of Malta. Oh, he's a right-wing extremist, see? And it's funny because those of us in the research community for the longest time have been saying that the group, trying to put yourself in a group, the truth movement, the patriot movement, the groups are the problem. It always has been. And so a lot of us out here, including myself for a lot of years, have been saying that's why we don't need the group model anymore. We need to be individuals. We need to say that we are sovereign citizens of humanity. We are individuals who are not owned or controlled by a corporation, a government, a religion. And now it seems that they're trying to turn this around, doesn't it? Yeah, now it's the lone wolves that are the terrorists. Yeah. So basically, by their definition, anybody who doesn't like what the government does, believes that the government is a fraud and controlled by a much higher power that exists well outside of our country here in the United States. But basically, anybody who doesn't, want to be in the system, doesn't want to operate in the system, doesn't want to vote in the phony system, doesn't want to use their phony fiat currency, doesn't want to eat their poison food and drink their poison water, is now a lone wolf. You see? I mean, they're really starting, and everything is revolved around. It's been that way for the longest time. Getting everybody enraged, getting everybody mad, pushing everything to the brink, causing the chaos. So in that chaos, they can come in and set up a new order. And now that Rick Perry is running for president, you've got, oh my goodness, they're ramping this stuff up just all over the place. White House denounced Republican presidential candidate Rick Perry on Tuesday for his threatening remarks for the head of the U.S. Federal Reserve that represented some of the most inflammatory rhetoric of the 2012 election campaign. Campaigning in Iowa on Monday, the Texas governor said he would consider it treasonous if Fed Chairman Ben Bernanke prints more money between now and the election in November 2012, a fresh sign of the political heat the central bank faces as it tries to right the stumbling U.S. economy. If this guy prints more money between now and the election, I don't know what y'all will do to him here in Iowa, but we would treat him pretty ugly down in Texas, Perry said, to laughter from supporters in Iowa. Printing more money to play politics at this particular time in American history is almost treacherous and treasonous, in my opinion. I mean, does anybody else but me getting the sneaking? I mean, I've thought this for the longest time. I've been talking about these. They could have some operative in a, We Are Change t-shirt or an InfoWars t-shirt, assassinate Obama, and then, everybody be calling for any and all truthers to be rounded up, put in camps. But I don't know who it is now, but I can tell you what, man, you read this kind of stuff, somebody's getting shot. I don't know who it's going to be. I don't know if it's going to be Obama. I don't know if it's going to be Rick Perry. I don't know if it's going to be Ron Paul. Who knows? Somebody is going to get shot. I mean, it's just becoming very apparent. But I mean, if you guys, honestly, anybody, I know I'm not really talking to our audience. Our audience knows. But if any of you people out there that are new to this stuff, I mean, if you think for a second, see, a lot of people are like, oh, well, there's no way Rick Perry has a chance. Blah, 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 blah. People aren't that stupid. People wouldn't elect another Republican from Texas to be president right after we just got done with Bush, no matter how bad Obama is. That may be true, but I don't think you realize who you're dealing with, man. These guys will rob, steal, cheat, rig the elections. They will do whatever they need to do. So whether Perry is a fall guy, I think he's there to cause more destabilization. I thought that for the longest time. He's talking about, Texas to secede from the Union. It's not up to you to make that decision, Perry. I'll tell you this, man. If that happens, I'm the fuck out of Texas. So if any of you out there in the listening audience, need a housemate or something, let me know. Because if I'm out of here if they fucking if they try to secede from the Union. I'm out, dude. I'm not going to be down here while that shit goes down. So holler at me. Let me know, man. Oh, goodness. It's just, it's insane. Everything's gone towards getting people all jacked up, screwed up, pissed off. And, they're running the same op that they ran the last election cycle, the Ron Paul. They're running it all over again. Ignoring him in the media, doing all that stuff so they get all the crazy Ron Paul followers whipped up into a frenzy and wanting armed conflict and wanting to bring down the government. They're going to, well, we have the best person that, could run our phony system, and it's Ron Paul, and they ignore him and won't let him have a chance. So that proves that our system of government needs to be brought down, and that's why we need armed conflict. So they're using him for that. Whether he knows it or not, he is a pawn. He is Ron Pawn, and that is his name, and he is a pawn in all this. A lot of these pawns don't ever even know that they are pawns. They just are. That's just what they are, and a lot of them don't even know that. An exasperated University of Tokyo professor who launched an angry tirade at lawmakers of the Fukushima nuclear crisis has become a hero to many on the internet. Tashishiko Kodama, 58, who heads the Radioisotope Center at Todai, was called to provide expert testimony before the lower house Health, Labor, and Welfare Committee on July 27th. Facing a panel of lawmakers, Kodama said that at a time when 70,000 people have left their homes and have no idea where to go, what is the Diet doing? Video footage from Kodama's testimony was soon posted on YouTube, and within a few days, the video has been viewed more than 200,000 times. He's saying that the equivalent of 29.6 times of the atomic bomb dropped on Hiroshima in terms of uranium, about 20 atomic bombs was released by Fukushima, while the remaining radiation from atomic bombs decreases to 1,000th of the original level after a year. Radioactive materials from the nuclear power plant Fukushima have only decreased to 1/10 the original level. So it's been spewing out 29.6 times that of the bomb dropped on Hiroshima for this long. And people just forgot, oh, it's over, they fixed it. No. I mean, there's just no doubt they're keeping us docile with fluoride. They're keeping us docile with electromagnetic waves. Otherwise, people would have already rised up against this stuff if they weren't. There's just too much going on. Talked about the whole staging of the alien scenario thing happening a lot last night. One of my listeners sent me this link to a video from a TV show on Discovery Channel called Curiosity. And the title of the episode was Alien Invasion, Are We Ready? Counterattack. And that's something that you constantly see. These aliens are always hostile. They're always here. It's always got to be a conflict. And I think that through the media, through what we've seen on TV and in movies, what Werner von Braun said seems to be correct. That they were going to tell us, they were going to confirm the existence of extraterrestrials and tell us that these extraterrestrials were hostile, when they were not. They're actually here to try and get us to mend our ways and help us fix our planet, but helping us fix our planet would mean the end to the global power structure, and these guys are not going to give up their control for anything. So they're going to get us to fight a war against extraterrestrials and unite under a global government to do so, just so they can keep their power structure in place. Isn't that what all wars are really about? So how would that be any different? Whether or not it's this war over here or that war over here or World War II or Vietnam or the war in Iraq or anything else, for years and years and years, warfare's always been about the power structure keeping itself intact and not having itself challenged from an outside force. All warfare is based around that. we've covered all these stories for the past just months and months and months on this show. New planets here, new planets there. Every day, there's new stories that we cover here on the show. This planet may harbor life, this, that, and the other. And that's the whole idea. I've talked about this before, this idea of the galactic Al-Qaeda, People laughed at me the first time I started talking about that, but that's really what it is. Because here on Earth, they've given us the phony Al-Qaeda, the faceless, nameless enemy that can never be tracked down. And of course, that's what the mainstream truth movement, patriot movement gives you as well when it comes to identifying the true power structure. Vague, loose terms like the New World Order and the elite and the power structure and all this stuff, which, we all end up having to use too because it's blanket terms. But the way that somebody like Alex Jones or somebody uses it like that, they use it in order to basically just provide the faceless, nameless boogeyman. It's no different than what the government does when they tell, Al-Qaeda's a threat, Al-Qaeda's a threat. It's the New World Order. Well, who is that? What are their names? Where do they live? How do we stop them? But that's not provided, you see. But with this, the galactic Al-Qaeda, this gives them the ability to be able to, we defeat one enemy, we have to put space-based weapons all around the Earth, get everybody, all the countries to use all of their nuclear weapons against these supposed threatening aliens. And then we have space-based weapons circling the Earth. Then, from then on, anybody that challenges the world power structure will be zapped down from space with a space-based weapon that we put up there when we were fighting the alien threat. And then we've got to have, a galactic federation and a galactic force because, my God, we've discovered billions and billions and billions of planets out there that all have life, and any one of them could be a threat to our way of life and want to come down and kill us and take our resources. So what do we have to do? Well, there you go. Then we're at Star Trek, right? That's pretty much where you enter Star Trek right there. Isn't that the way it was in Star Trek? There was just constantly, threats from some sort of species or something. That's what they want. Because then their weapon manufacturers down here on Earth have an endless way to keep producing weapons and waging war, and it's got to end sometime. Study says an hour of TV can shorten your life by 22 minutes. Well, that tells us what we already have known for quite some time, doesn't it? It also tells me one other thing. Shut off the goddamn TV. Turn the motherfucker off, break the knob, take a sledgehammer to it. They're good for watching movies. Don't do that. But seriously, cut the fucking cord. I think it's time. All this, people are just losing their minds, aren't they? And how much of this stuff of people losing their minds is a result of I'm sure a great deal of it is a result of the SSRIs and what they're pumping in the food and the water and drugs they've got us on now and fucking, drugs that are in our water. But, I'm sure a great deal of it has to be these mind control waves and chemtrails and HARP and all the rest of this stuff too. But, just like we talked about yesterday, the guy decapitates his 7-year-old special needs son and leaves his head out by the street and just butchers him right there in the sink like it's nobody's business. All this crazy stuff. I mean, every day there's some wild, wacky story that I read in the news, and it just seems like people are either by design or because of the great awakening that's going on. A lot of people are just flat losing their minds. That's how a lot of people are going to die. A lot of people have chosen to stay enamored with the material world and to stay wrapped around mainstream consensus reality and have not broadened their minds to the possibilities of things that are of what is possible in this world. And that's what this information and part of what I try to do the most. And because I can have a 15-minute conversation with somebody, and by the time I'm done with them, if they don't know what I'm talking about, they either think I'm out of my mind or they're freaked out in the corner in a fucking fetal position. Because they kept us in this state of arrested development. It's exactly what Alex Jones does, too. He keeps his listeners and his audience everybody in a state of arrested development where you never progress, you never really get anywhere, and you're just on this constant hamster wheel. That's what they've done with society as a whole. They've kept us never really knowing any sort of truth. And with the revelations and new things that are going to be coming out very soon, a lot of people are not going to be able to handle this. I think we're very much entering that now. A Georgia teen killed his great-grandmother and wounded his grandmother with a sword before cops took him down with a stun gun. Cops in Douglasville arrived at the home Monday afternoon to find the dead woman lying in the front yard with a 15-year-old boy standing in the doorway with a sword and a pellet gun. You know, I mean, this is sad. I mean, this guy killed his own great-grandmother, wounded his grandmother. But, you know, because my parents divorced when I was about a year old, I spent a lot of time with my grandparents and was kind of pretty much raised by my grandmother and grandfather on my mother's side of the family. Started living with them when I was like 14, 15. You know, I got my ass whooped. I got my ass whooped every stage of my life. From the time I was little, you know, if I fucked up and did something, I got my ass whooped. And guess what? I didn't do it again. I got my ass whooped in the 3rd grade. Listen to this. I got paddled. I got 3 licks from a paddle in 3rd grade. I shit you not. For humming a song in music class. How the fuck can you do that? Who does that happen to? You know, but that's the whole problem here is we've turned into this, you know, now it's if you whip your kid, that's child abuse. And that's all been by design so stuff like this will happen. So that we raise a generation of people who are just out of their fucking minds. Remember when seriously, remember when your grandmother used to tell you you're going to break her off a switch? And you come back with a little one and she get pissed and have to go up there and break a big one off and beat you with it. You know what they call it, a switch? Is it switch your ass around real quick. That's why. But seriously, man, I mean, if kids were still getting their ass whooped, you wouldn't have 15-year-olds chopping up their great-grandmothers with fucking samurai swords. That's all I'm saying. And you guys, we talked about this over the past year or so too. All this cognitive dissonance going on. All the, you know, people are seeing what they're calling chupacabras everywhere. Have you seen this? One up in Minnesota. They caught one somewhere too. I've got a link to it. I can put it in the chat room for you guys. Somebody actually caught one and filmed it and had it on tape and stuff. But they're calling it a chupacabra, but it doesn't fit. And this is, you know, these have been seen 4 or 5 times. They all have the same description. This is some kind of genetic hybrid. They actually took it and had it long enough. It has a rat tail and a kangaroo body and a deer body. This is some kind of hybrid, you know, probably some kind of government hybridization program that's escaped from a lab. But calling this thing a chupacabra, that's actually not what the chupacabra was actually described as. The chupacabra is like this alien-looking thing with fangs and sucks goats. So they're mislabeling whatever this thing is and calling it a chupacabra because just calling it a chupacabra seems to, from what I've seen, just, I don't know, it puts the blinders on people. So they go, oh, it's a because then they go, oh, it's a chupacabra. There you go. That explains what it is. But that's what we have here. The big, real, tough question that needs to be asked is, what is this thing? Where did it come from? And what is the result of it? Yeah, that thing in that video is not a goat sucker. Not a goat sucker whatsoever. I don't know. It just looks too unthreatening. Oh, man. Oh, man. Oh, man. Let me see if I have any other news here tonight. I didn't have a lot. We talked about the other. Did I talk about that last night? This oil spill. There's another. If I didn't, well, it's gotten worse. Royal Dutch Shell has shut down the main leak at one of its North Sea oil rigs, but said Tuesday it is struggling to stop a secondary spill in a hard-to-reach part of the ocean floor. So this is going on and being hugely not talked about. Something's definitely going on. I mean, is that what it is? I mean, are they spewing radiation and oil into all the seas because they know the aliens are trying to come and take our resources? Is that what they're doing? So they're just going to, fuck it. Ruin the planet, kill it, and then go jump on some other planet somewhere in one of their Stargate teleportation devices? I don't know. Fuck. Wouldn't surprise me at this point. Long Beach police on lookout for photos with, quote, no apparent aesthetic value. What is that supposed to mean? What do you think of this photo of a refinery by photographer Sander Roscoe Wolf? Apparently, Long Beach police don't think very highly of it. Wolf was detained after capturing it last month. And now the police chief is saying that stopping photographers for photos with no apparent aesthetic value is part of department policy. Excuse me? You can't going out and taking artistic pictures now? The police are now being trained on what has aesthetic value and what doesn't? These guys are artists now? A discerning eye for art? This is unfucking believable. If an officer sees someone taking pictures of something like a refinery, says Police Chief Jim McDonald, it is incumbent upon the officer to make contact with the individual. McDonald went on to say that whether said contact becomes detainment depends upon the circumstances the officer encounters. McDonald says that while there is no police training specific to determining whether a photographer's subject has, quote-unquote, apparent aesthetic value, officers make such judgments based on their overall training and experience and will generally approach photographers not engaging in regular tourist behavior. Telling police officers to be the judge in determining whether a photograph has an artistic value doesn't seem like a very good way of catching the bad guys. What if some terrorist is an awesome photographer? That's just unfucking believable. It shows you the depths that we've sunk down to. Artists, people, photographers, they may be threats. My goodness, be on the lookout for them. They may be Al-Qaeda. Insane. Hey, we're going to take a break and come back. We're going to get into some emails. You got time to get one in tonight. If you got a question, a comment, got something you want to hear me talk about, globalrealityshow@gmail.com. That's globalrealityshow@gmail.com. And we are going to come back, read some listener emails, and get into tablet number 10 of the Lost Book of Enki for you here tonight, ladies and gentlemen, on the show. So glad you could be with us. Back here with you on the Global Reality right here on the Global Reality Radio Network. I'm your host, Josh Reeves. Thanks for being with us here tonight.
3 Days of Darkness in 2012.
But we're going to be getting into some emails here in this segment of the broadcast, and then we're going to be reading from the Lost Book of Enki tonight. Tablet number 10. Be starting out on that road. It's really getting into the time of the deluge and the great flood and saving of mankind, all that stuff. It'll be should be a good read, getting into some interesting stuff here tonight. Let's see what we have in the email bag. I had a listener send me, actually it's a guy I used to be in the 9/11 group, truth group with back in 2007, sent me an email saying, was it me or were the chemtrails almost non-existent during the heat wave? Well, if you're not a fucking moonbat like me or some of our listeners, you wouldn't notice this, but I notice it every night when I go outside. I notice all through the heat wave here that I see intermittent chemtrails and stuff during the day, what appear to be like aerosol spraying stuff, not the kind that, leaves the trail, but just where you can definitely see they're spraying, but it just kind of dissipates into the atmosphere for whatever purpose. But I've noticed at night. at least here in the Dallas area where I live, they're doing the chemtrail spraying at night now. I'll go out at night, 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, smoke a cigarette, and the skies are just blanketed. So I think they're doing it more at night now that people are paying a lot more attention to it. This is from Serge. Hey, Josh, Serge in Panama. Not sure if you know about Project Monarch, aside of Project MK Ultra. Yeah, I've talked about Monarch many times on the show. A lot of the stuff that I've talked about, you know, if you don't hear me talk, if you just start listening recently, you got to understand, man, I've been doing a radio show for 4 years now. So I'm not one of those people that really likes to repeat myself a lot. So, you know, a lot of these topics stuff I've talked about in the past. I've talked about Monarch quite a bit. Yeah. And, he also says that's why Chappelle left the answer. Yeah. I've talked about Chappelle and the whole, you know, always make the black actors wear the dress and, you know, the black Illuminati and all that stuff. Nigginati, as they call themselves. That's not my term. It's theirs. If caught by their handlers, they're reprogrammed and sent back for conditioning. It's basically selling your soul to the devil, all for fame and bling bling. Yeah, well, that's part of it. And yeah, if you won't succumb to that, they'll just ruin your good name. That's part of it. Dear Mr. Reeves, enjoyed your interview on red ice. I have researched this and the Bible for over 30 years. That being said, you might want to check out articles on Watch Unto Prayer. Her research is very good, and though I have to admit I disagree with some things, especially concerning who Mystery Babylon is. Also, in your research, you might want to listen to an old recording of the Illuminati by Myron Fagan, and I would also highly recommend Michael Collins' Piper works, especially the Judas Goats and New Babylon. Piper, yeah, he's a Jews run everything guy. Not a fan of him at all, but thank you there for the email. Let's see what else we have. Got an email back from the producers on the television show I was telling you guys about that, and they said that they're still developing the broadcast, still developing what it's going to be, and they're still very interested in having me on it. So we'll see what happens there. You never know. Stranger things to happen. I'll know the apocalypse is upon us. They put my ugly ass on TV. That's all I'm saying. Here's an email. Hello, my name is David Huber. I'm a U.S. citizen residing in Mexico City for the past 14 years, and I'm a fan of your work on the Global Reality website. I am contacting you to express interest in a full-time or part-time content management, writing, marketing, and or announcing job with your website in a manner that would provide value to you and a fulfilling labor experience to me. To be clear, I'm not an expert on the material covered on your site, but I'm extremely interested in expanding my knowledge base, and it would give me a unique opportunity to do so. My experience includes over 5 years of website content management. See attached resume. Wow. 5 years of SEO, Google Analytics experience to increase website traffic. Years of announcing, podcast experience, and I've written well over 100 articles online. Apart from this, I have an extreme desire to learn and an even greater interest in the content provided on the site. Would be thrilled to come on board, either in a full-time or part-time capacity, any way that you believe would provide value to your project. I am attaching my resume curriculum, which includes my relevant labor experience, reference, and interests. Up until recently, I was a full-time website editor for the online poker sites listed in my curriculum, but now only employed part-time due to U.S. recent government crackdown on online poker. I am hopeful you will consider me for any opening you have on the website and allow me an opportunity to prove that I can provide value in a number of ways. I'm also open to any suggestions you may have and other opportunities to learn that may not include content management. Be glad to be willing to work for free on a 1-week trial basis to prove my work benefit and be thrilled to do any type of legwork. That's the problem, David. I don't have the money to pay anybody to do anything. I'd love to have everything that you just talked about there, because I think it would probably improve getting us out to much larger people. But man, I barely have enough money to eat some days. My whole existence comes from doing this type of work. all my existence comes from doing this. You know, I don't have outside sources of income coming in. I don't own anything. I mean, I'm for all intents and purposes pretty much a homeless person. I don't own any land. I don't have savings or a bank account or stocks or gold or I don't have any of that stuff. I'd love to have all that stuff, man. I appreciate the offer, but I don't have money to pay anybody to do anything. I wish I did. I wish we could get this operation to that kind of a level. Because if I could get this operation to that kind of level, we know where I had an office and had employees and had people I could pay, like our webmaster man Hydra and other people and stuff like that. I mean, I'd love to do that, but man, I don't have advertising and sponsors and all that, and so whatever we get in just comes from the generosity of our listeners. And it's barely enough. Like I said earlier in the show, my high-def camera's busted now, and I'm here in crunch time trying to get this movie finished, and my high-def camera's gone tits up on me. We had problems last night with our preamp going out. I had a little cheapo repo backup I was able to get up and running tonight. That'll work for now, but that's a problem, man. I don't have the cash. I barely have enough cash to stay alive every month. We scrape by every month to get the bills paid barely, but contact me again. I don't know. I mean, maybe if there's some stuff you might be willing to do for free, let me know. But I don't have the money to pay anybody to do that, man. I'm sorry. I wish I did. Let's see what else we have here. This one, we had a email last week from Taylor. And Taylor sent back in a reply and said he was the guy who brought up the stuff about the tribe of Dan and Anuit Coeptus and all that. Remember we talked about that? Josh, thanks very much for considering my question. I do appreciate it. I forgot to mention another sort of curious thing. As I'm sure you're aware, the tribe of Dan, the serpent, apparently left their namesake all over the place like rivers. The Danube, the Dnieper, Don, places like Eden, Sudan, Dendera, Denmark, Scandinavia, or even the Norse god Odin. Sparta was supposedly descended from a Jewish tribe. Homer actually called the Spartans the Danans. Arcadians and Alexander the Great of Macedonia, Don, here it is again, was supposedly descended from that line. Donatello, Don Juan, Samson from Dan, and of course Hiram Abiff. Here in the States, we have the American deity McDonald's, and then Denver, New World Airport. There's also an Irish connection, but it just goes on and on. Given all that, it's a little weird to realize Denton, Texas, being on the 33rd parallel, considering the history of Dallas. Here on the campus, we have two things in particular: a huge Pentagon facing north, and another north-south alignment between the clock tower, reflecting pool, fountain, and an arch mat of bronze books, and it's directly in front of the library. I will try to film it so you can see it for yourself. Yeah, I've seen it. I've been up there to, I'm from North Texas, man. I mean, University of North Texas there in Denton. Believe me, I've been all over that campus. Dated many college women from up there at the college. Let's just leave it at that. I've been I've been in all those dorms. They went to college there. But I've been all in the library. I've been all in the dorms. Yeah. But yeah, film whatever you want. Send it to me. I'd love to see it. Yeah, I'd love to just see your footage. For our listeners. And let me attempt to be clear. None of this is proof of anything. However, it is evidence which you could support several theories, all of which I'd like to consider. No, man. You don't have to try and act like you're grasping at straws. If you see all that stuff with that kind of alignment, it's it means something. It's all over the place. It's on all the college campuses. It's on, government buildings. It's everywhere. So you don't have to try to convince me that you're grasping at straws. There's definitely something to it. Let's see what else we have here. This comes from Troy. Troy says, over the last couple of years, I've been getting into this Anunnaki stuff, and I've been listening to your reading. Have you started reading part 8 yet? Well, we're starting on tablet 10 tonight, so you left off hearing part 7. Well, we're starting on tablet 10 tonight, so you might want to go back and listen to the rebroadcast there, listener. So thanks so much. Hi, Josh. Really like your show. 32-year-old guy and a new listener from Northeast Pennsylvania. I have a guest suggestion for a future show. Not sure if you're familiar with a personal friend of mine, Ground Zero rescue worker, retired Sergeant Matthew Tartaglia. In the past, he has appeared on the Alex Jones Show. Womp, womp. And others featured in at least one documentary I'm aware of. I think it would make a great interview, and you can find more info here. Okay. He's an incredible individual who has been a great inspiration in my life, many others. Also wanting your opinion about the Tamu creation theory proposed by researcher Bobby Hemmett and others, partially found within Elijah Muhammad's teachings that white people are hybrid creatures, possibly created out of Egypt, maybe the Cretan and Minoan, and in many cases referred to distinctly as devils or evildoers. Do you believe that we can trace white ancestry on this planet back any farther than 6,000 years? And do you have any personal opinion about white people and the darker-skinned Aboriginal peoples being from the same human strain, as researcher Booker T. Coleman proposes that Europeans were originally African peoples that traveled too far north and got trapped in caves during extremely cold temperatures and were forced to inbreed and civilize with dogs, hence the term canine, relating to the Canaanites and the dog star worshippers, and there is only one race on the planet, the human race. They also propose that the nomadic cave dwellers' pineal gland over long periods of time without any exposure to the sun dried up, similar to a raisin compared to the grape, and this may account for the warlike mentality of the European. I thought that, see, all that stuff, it's all good stuff, but it all just seems to me like cover for this Anunnaki stuff. It just seems like cover for what is there. There's been a lot of sophisticated stuff that's been put out there through the years that is attempted to draw attention away from what I and many other people consider to be the real issue. And the real issue is that the people that run the planet and hereditary dictatorships all over the planet and the monarchy and even, presidents and the Bush family, these are all people that come from these bloodlines that originate back to the cradle of civilization. And it just seems that and that's the issue. These people believe they have a divine right to rule because they believe they come from the same bloodline as the gods. And so all this other stuff of, were they in caves for too long and all this blah, 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 all this stuff. I don't know. Maybe so. Maybe there is something to it. I honestly don't know. But I've seen a lot of that stuff, and all of it always seems to me like it's red herring stuff, distractionary stuff. Look over here, so that we get away from what the real issue at hand is. And the real issue at hand is that we have people whose bloodlines go back thousands of years. And we never are taught this in school. We're never taught, why is the queen a queen? Why is the king a king? Why are these people, through the years, the only ones that can be kings and queens? Bloodlines. That's why. And until people really find out the real reasons behind this, mankind are not going to pull themselves out of the muck that we've been enslaved in. So I don't know, man. That kind of stuff just seems like, let's get caught up and distracted and all this stuff have just a round and round conversation about things that are a lot harder to get into and to understand. It's very simple. It's an absolute fact that all the people that are in charge of this planet are go back to these ancient bloodlines. They think that we don't know this, and they think that they have a divine right to rule and do whatever they want because, in the end, the full achievement of their master work is to become gods, merge with machines, to become gods on par with the gods that created mankind and humanity. That's what they want to do. That's not what they want to do. That's what they believe is their destiny. But good stuff there. Thanks for all the emails. GlobalRealityShow@gmail.com. That's GlobalRealityShow@gmail.com. Love to have more emails from you over there anytime. Again, my website with this broadcast originates from www.theglobalreality.com. Chip and banner, the donate button is there. We don't have commercials. We don't have sponsors. We don't have banner ads. We don't have any of this stuff. But if we want to continue, we're going to stay alive every month. It's a direct result of you, the listener. Please use the chip and banner, my website, for that. If you want to use the donate button and throw some money our way so we can get this camera situation fixed, please do that as well. Also, my PayPal direct email address, if you just want to send it direct through the send money option in PayPal, it's dayglow76@yahoo.com, DAYGLOW76@yahoo.com. And we also have the P.O. Box there for people who can't use PayPal. Thank you so much. The 10th tablet, page 218, The Lost Book of Enki. That's where we're picking up tonight. And we're going to jump right into this because it's about to get good. So here we go. The 10th tablet. In Sapar, all of the Anunnaki gathered and awaited the day of the deluge. It was at that time that the tension of awaiting was mounting. The Lord Enki, asleep in his quarters, had a dream vision. In the dream vision, there appeared the image of a man, bright and shining like the heavens. And as the man Enki approached, Enki saw that the white-haired Galzu he was. In his right hand, he was holding an engraver's stylus. And in his left hand, a tablet of lapis lazuli, shining and smooth, he held. And as he approached near enough by Enki's bed to stand, Galzu spoke up and said, "Unwarranted your accusations against Enlil were, for only the truth he spoke. And the decision that as Enlil's decision will be known, none but he decreed the destiny. Now take fate into your hands, Enki, for the earthlings will inherit the earth. Summon your son, Zisudara. Without breaking the oath to him, reveal the coming calamity. Tell him to build a boat that can withstand the watery avalanche, a submersible one, the likes of which on this tablet I am showing you. Let him save him, it, and himself as if they were his kinfolk. And the seed of all that is useful, be it plant or animal, also take. That is the will of the creator of all." And Galzu, in the dream vision with the stylus, drew an image on the tablet and placed the engraved tablet by the side of Enki's bed. And after that image faded, the dream vision ended, and Enki, with a shudder, awoke. In his bed, Enki lied for a while and remained there. With wonder, he pondered the dream vision he had just had. What was the meaning? What omen did it hold? Then, as he stepped off his bed, behold, there was the tablet. What in a mere dream vision he had seen was now materially by his bedside. With trembling hands, the Lord Enki picked the tablet up. A design of a curious shaped boat upon the tablet he saw. By the tablet's edge, measuring markings there were, indicating the boat's measurements. Astir with awe and hope, the Lord Enki quickly sent for his emissaries at sunrise. "Find the one called Galzu. To him I must speak," so he said to them. By sundown, all come back. All it came back. To Enki, they were reporting none were able to find Galzu. Galzu, they said, returned to Nibiru long ago. Greatly baffled Enki was, the mystery and its omen he strove to understand. Unravel the mystery he could not, yet the message was clear to him. That night to the reed, but where Zisidra was sleeping, Enki stealthily went. Not breaking the oath, the Lord Enki spoke through the hut's wall to Zisidra. Wake up, wake up. To the reed wall, Enki was saying. From behind the reed screen, he was speaking. When Zisidra, by the words, was awakened, he said to Zisidra, reed hut, to my words, pay attention, to my instructions, pay heed. On all the habitations over the cities, a calamitous storm will sweep. The destruction of mankind and its offspring it will be. This is the final ruling, the word of the assembly by Enlil convened. This is the decision by Anu and Enlil and Ninmah spoken. Now heed my words, observe the message that to you I am speaking. Abandon your house, build a boat, spurn possessions, save the life. The boat that you must build, its design and measurements are shown on a tablet. I shall leave this tablet by the reed hut's wall. Make sure the boat shall be roofed throughout. The sun from the inside must not be seen. The tackle must be very strong, the pitch strong and tight to ward off the water. Let the boat be one that can turn and tumble and survive the watery avalanche. In 7 days, build the boat and gather into it your family and kinfolk. In the boat, food and water for drinking heap up. Also bring along household animals. Then on the appointed day, a signal to you shall be given. A boat guide who knows the waters by me appointed will come to you on that day. On that day, you must enter the boat, and you must close its hatch tightly. An overwhelming deluge coming from the south, lands and life it shall devastate. Your boat from its moorings it shall lift. The boat it shall turn and tumble. Fear not. To a safe haven the boat guide will navigate you. By you shall seed luscively, by you shall the seed of civilized mankind survive. When Enki's voice fell silent, agog was Zisidra. On his knees prostrate, he fell. My Lord, he shouted. Your voice I heard. Let me see your face. Not to you, Zisidra, have I spoken. To the reed wall did I speak. So Enki said. By Enlil's decision, by an oath upheld, I am bound to all that the Anunnaki swore. In my face you shall see, surely like all earthlings you will die. Now, reed hut, pay heed to my words. The purpose of the boat is a secret that must remain with you from the Anunnaki. When the townspeople inquire, you will say to them, the Lord Enlil with my Lord Enki has been angry. To Enki's abode in the Abzu I am sailing. Perchance Enki will be appeased. For a while silence followed. The Sidra came from behind the reed wall. A tablet of lapis lazuli in the moonlight was shining. He saw it and picked it up. The image of a boat was drawn upon it, and notches gave its measurements. Wisest of civilized men was Zisidra. What he had heard, he had understood. In the morning, he announced to the townspeople, the Lord Enlil with the Lord Enki, my master, has been angry. On that account, to me, the Lord Enlil is hostile. In this city I can no longer reside, nor in the Eden can I set foot anymore. To the Abzu, the Lord Enki's domain, I will go sailing there. In a boat that must quickly be built, I will away from here depart. Thereby the Lord Enlil's anger will subside and hardships will end. Upon you the Lord Enki will henceforth shower abundance. The morning was not gone yet when the people gathered about and around Zisidra. To speedily build the boat for him, they encouraged each other. Timbers of boat wood the elders were hauling, the little ones bitumen from the marshes carried. As woodworkers, the planks were hammered together, Zisidra in a cauldron, melted metal in the cauldron. With the bitumen, the boat was waterproofed inside and out, as in the drawing upon the tablet. The boat on the 5th day was completed. Eager to see Zisidra depart, the townspeople brought food and water to the boat. From their own mouths they took sustenance. To appease Enlil, they were in a hurry. 4-legged animals were also driven into the boat. Birds from the field by themselves flew in. Into the boat, Zisidra and his spouse and sons were made to embark. Their wives and children also came. Any who to the abode of the Lord Enki wished to go, let them too come aboard. Envisioning Enlil's abundance, only some of the craftsmen heeded the call. On the 6th day, Ninagel, lord of the great waters, came to the boat. A son of Enki he was. To be the boat's navigator, he was selected. A box of cedar woods was held in his hands. He kept it by his side in the boat. The life essences and life eggs of living creatures it contains, by the Lord Enki and Ninmah they were collected. From the wrath of Enlil to be hidden, to resurrect life of the earth be willing. So did Ningal explain to Zisidra, and thus were all beasts by their twos in the boat hidden. There you go. Now Ningal and Zisidra in the boat awaited the arrival on the 7th day. In the 120th Shar, the deluge was awaited. In the 10th Shar, in the life age of Zisidra, was the deluge forthcoming. In the station of the constellation of the Lion, the avalanche was looming. And the next part is now, this is the account of the deluge that swept over Earth, and how the Anunnaki escaped, and how Zisidra survived in the boat. So that's that's tablet 10, page 223, 223, the account of the deluge that swept over Earth. And we'll pick back up on that on tomorrow night's broadcast. I want to thank everybody for tuning in and being with us here tonight. My website where this broadcast originates from is www.theglobalreality.com. It's www.theglobalreality.com. Please support our work so we can continue and push on into the future. My name is Josh Reeves. I love each and every one of you. Thanks so much for being with us tonight, Moonbat. You guys have a great night, great morning. Take care.